Hi, I'm Ashley Cotter-Cairns from sellmycomicbooks.com, and this is the latest episode of This or That. This is a series where we're trying to prevent collectors and investors from making big, expensive mistakes, and we're going to present alternative ideas for where to put your money into comic books. So without further ado, this or that. Next is one of my favorite books of all time, Incredible Hulk #1. So I kind of understand why Incredible Hulk 181 is hot, because Wolverine is probably the biggest character in the Marvel Universe. But Hulk is just so cool. Like, Incredible Hulk was one of my favorite characters growing up. I love Batman, of course, because of Adam West. Rest in peace. But in the Marvel Universe, at least, Hulk was really cool for me. He was just the anger thing. It was really cool. And there was a TV show as well when I was just growing up, so that kind of influenced me a lot. So Hulk 1, first appearance of Incredible Hulk. This book is rapidly moving out of reach for many collectors, and it's definitely entered the point where buying an Incredible Hulk 1 is an investment. Now, if you're kind of somewhere in between investor and collector, and you're kind of thinking, well, I'd love a Hulk 1, but my budget only allows me to buy a 0.5. There's 0.5 and there's 0.5. This end of the market is great because it illustrates just how subjective comic book grading by a third party can be. Even CGC, CBCS, those guys have great reputations, and they're doing something for the industry that no one else has really done. You can say plus or minus on that, but at least what they're doing is protecting people from putting big money into a comic book that turns out to be restored. To me, that's worth the price of entry alone. It's worth paying the extra just to have that reassurance that some dealer in the 80s didn't put color touch on the cover or add some pieces carefully or glue the spine. And so that my big $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 or $10,000 investment in this book isn't going to be undermined by the fact there's some restoration discovered. So what's really nice about the 0.5 end of the market is that 0.5 can be awarded to a book that looks like a complete piece of crap, or it can be awarded to a book that has serious issues but can look quite nice. And the example I found for you is Incredible Hulk #1. Actually, the first example is one I actually discovered in a collection in Vancouver when I just started my website. It was my first big collection I got. It had Hulk 1, ASM 1, X-Men 1, Daredevil 1. It had everything. They were just complete thrashers, which is great timing because I couldn't afford to buy a better collection at the time. I was just starting out. And this was my first big score of Silver Age. It was really exciting. I was teaching myself to press at the same time, and at the time I was waiting for the presses to warm up. I would read these great comic books that I'd never even held before, let alone had a chance to read. So I read all the classics from ASM 1 to 50, and it was an awesome experience. So this Hulk 1, I mean, this is such an ugly copy. It has actually, you can see a big piece of tape through the question mark. That tear that goes through the question mark to the edge actually went through every single page of the book. So all 36 pages had this 2-inch tear all the way through them, reinforced by tape. Then the spine also had a couple of pieces of tape. But what I really think is hilarious about this book is how worn the cover is. It's almost like someone took sandpaper to it and tried to remove as much of the purple glossy ink as possible without actually sanding it completely away. Also, somebody drew on the word Hulk with red pen and also pencil. I mean, you can go on and on. This thing is as dog rough as it gets, but it was complete. So this is what we call a beat but complete. It's a 0.5. So when you look up the price of an Incredible Hulk #1 0.5, what you'll find is that on average it sells for around $3,000, $3,200. The highest sale in 2016 was $3,700 and the lowest sale was $3,150. There's been one sale this year at $29. So we're going to say $3,000, $3,200 or so. So when you're pricing a low-grade key issue like this, you can factor in, okay, the average sale is about 3,200, and there's a bit of a range there, so 3,700 at one end, 3,000 at the other end. You're not going to get it for much less than that in a CGC holder. Just not, because so many people want a Hulk 1, even in this condition. So for the same price, pretty much, give or take $100. And when you're talking about a $3,000 investment, $100 or $200 shouldn't phase you. It's less than 10%. You can get this example. Now, this example is a 0.5 for a couple of reasons. The first is serious marble chipping on the right edge. Marble chipping was where the blade of the cutter for the covers wasn't sharp enough, and it kind of it created sort of damage on the right edge as the cover was cut, sometimes which manifests itself as little scoop shapes that are kind of half hanging on and half not, and sometimes, as in this case, the whole of the right edge is chipped away where it's been red. This example also has a completely split spine and a very big tear through the Hulk's left arm and into the two people drawn in yellow at the bottom. I mean, those are just some of the issues. If you look around the book, the cover, you would find other problems, but the biggest one is the split spine. If it didn't have the split spine, this thing would probably grade a 1.5 or maybe even a 2 because it's so pretty. It is, considering the grade, a really, really nice example. It's clean, it's fresh, the title is unblemished, the Hulk, the main character of the Hulk and Dr. Banner are nice and clean and visible, and there's no tape. Yeah, the tear is a bit of a shame, but it's all there. I mean, the cover is all there. It's not missing a huge chunk or anything, which is pretty common for a 0.5. So when you're looking to invest thousands of dollars in a big key issue like Hulk 1, Amazing Fantasy 15, Amazing Spider-Man 1, Brave and the Bold 28, going even higher, something like Showcase 4, you are faced with choice, even at this end of the market. You should not be rushed into buying the ugly-looking Hulk 1 at 0.5 for the same price of a decent-looking Hulk 1, 0.5. When you come to sell, eye appeal makes a big difference. Eye appeal is basically, if you put two books side by side, which one would you rather own? It doesn't matter about the prices, forget the prices. Put these two books side by side, which would you rather own? Of course, your instinct is, oh, the one on the right with the marble chipping and the split spine looks so much nicer. Because let's face it, you're not going to crack this out and read it, are you? You're going to keep it in its holder. If you want to read Hulk 1, there's probably reprints of this, Marvel Milestone editions, or online there's probably the entire comic you can read online somewhere. So just from a pure joy of ownership thing, which would you rather look at? You know, once a month or once a week, however often you look through your books. This one on the right, which is definitely a prettier looking book, and it won't cost you very much more, if at all. You might get it for the same price. So just be smart about it. I'm now going to show you a couple more examples. I found 3 copies of Amazing Spider-Man #1 in 1.0. Again, this is the affordable end of the mega key market. So, you know, if you're looking to start a run of Amazing Spider-Man or finish a run of Amazing Spider-Man even with the #1, then you need to say, okay, well, I can only afford a 1.0. Well, which would you rather own and which would you rather look at every day? The first one has big problems on the spine. It looks like there was a big piece of tape that's been removed at some point and the spine is all kind of shredded there and stained all the way down from where the tape was. The second example is actually a kind of, initially you think, okay, this doesn't look too bad, and then you realize there are big chunks missing. You can actually see the inner page at the top right corner, and there's another chunk missing from the top of the cover, and the bottom right corner is also gone. So, I mean, the first thing I would think is, why are those pieces missing? Is this book a little bit brittle? Are there other pieces that might fall off in the future? It's all right looking. It's better than the first one. Then I found another one. This also has pieces missing, but they're all on the back. To be honest, CGC are usually a little easier on books where the damage is on the back. So I'm surprised this only got a 1, even though it has some pieces missing. It looks great from the front. From the front, that could be a 5.0. I mean, it's gorgeous looking. I think there might be a big tear actually now. I'm looking more closely. through The Thing and Mr. Fantastic. But even so, I've had books that have a big tear in the front cover that get a higher grade than a 1. But just purely at first glance, you'd say, wow, this book looks great. And it's the same price, more or less, as the other 2 examples. So again, if I were putting my money into a 1.0, I'd say, well, I want to make sure that I get a really nice looking 1.0. I don't want to have something that I just go, ugh, when I look at it. So I hope that gives you an idea of what to do when you're buying those big key issues. We're still, again, it's almost the same as the Hulk 181 example. You're not saving 50% by buying a rough one. You're saving 10%. And when you come to sell that book, books in the same grade, but one has a nicer looking cover than the others, is going to do better pro rata when you come to sell. So your investment's much more protected by spending a little bit more upfront. Thank you so much for watching This or That. There'll be another episode in the next week or 2. As ever, please, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. Please give me a comment under the video. Please share this video. That would be the biggest takeaway. Please just copy the URL at the top of the screen, share it on Facebook, share it on YouTube, share it to your friends, email the link, whatever it takes. Let's just get this out there because I want to help as many people as I can. And my email address is on the screen now. I'd love to hear your feedback directly. Please send me an email. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, other social media under Sell My Comic Books. We list hundreds and hundreds of books for sale on eBay daily at Sell My Comic Books. And check out the website, sellmycomicbooks.com. Thanks very much, and until next time, this or that.